All right, guys, welcome in. So I'm going to be doing a trade review over both of our trades. NQ, this is on April 30th for 278 points profit. Live call outs. I literally said my game plan. This is where I want to enter. I called out my entry live, said I was in QQQ puts, NQ shorts, and we wrote this down together. And then I'll also show you the same trade for tomorrow as well. 288 points profit for Friday's trade on May 1st. Basis of this trade, though. I set up the week Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I told the students I'm trading defensively. I'm looking for 2-to-1 R trades, taking quicker profits with 20-point stop, 40-point take profit. Just because we have the FOMC interest rate decision, we had Powell's last press conference, and we had massive earnings on the week. So to me, this was a no-brainer to just set up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday possible consolidation and shorter moves, 2-to-1 R, to build me a buffer. That way I can open up my position size. I can open up my trades and let my trades run, let those winners run going into Thursday, Friday. Again, this was given live within the community. As you can see, the link is in the description if you're wanting to join. But let's go over the trades themselves. So first thing that separates, me personally as a trader from most of these other, it's cringe, but most of these other, gurus online, these guys that pretend like they trade and then they don't have any live trades to actually back it up, is I trade based on order flow. I use order book level 2, time and sales, and volume footprint mainly to determine my entry criteria. So I look for heavy flow coming in at the ask or the bid, depending on the direction of the trade I'm trying to take at my key levels. Again, I have my key levels videos as well on YouTube if you want to go ahead and look that up. But that's how I take all my entries, every single one. I don't keep that a secret. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. There's no reason to hide this because it's super hard to learn, right? It's not something some guru can just pick up and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to start learning this and pretending like I trade off of this and teaching it in a month or two. It probably takes 6 to 9 months to get decently good at reading the order book, especially off the open. I usually trade in the first 20 to 30 minutes. Anyone who tells you otherwise that that's not possible is just lying to your face. All they're doing is trying to protect their ego because they cannot do it. They cannot trade at the open consistently and have a 95% win rate like I do. So they need to protect themselves from that and tell you that it's not possible. But I'm here to show you and tell you that it is possible. You can do whatever you want. So what we identified here at the open was I'll go ahead and I will, I guess I'll screenshot my watch list or something and slap it up here. But one of the main things I identified here was nice range that had formed, right? We had that previous day, a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of chop. You can see our 2-to-1 R trade down here. It was the only trade. But we have this massive pre-market push followed by this massive pre-market dump, followed by a massive bounce, right? Or I'm sorry, post-market into the pre-market session. So I'm sitting here telling myself, like, man, I could easily see a strong breakout in one direction or the other. Very, very possible in this situation. So I wanted to create myself a big range in the pre-market. So my downside play was down here. If we were to sell into this, I'm using 27,495 as my mid bias to determine if I'm wanting to go short or go long on the day. So once we start to sell through this level, really all I'm looking for is increased selling pressure at this level. So again, it's hard to back test volume, but in the moment here, all of these buy orders were already here. So this is a volume footprint chart showing tick volume. All these buy orders were already here. Sell orders were starting to trickle in. But what was really key here and what was really important was on the order book level 2, there was a decent amount of orders coming in on the bid, but there was just nothing at the ask. The ask means price just wanting to go higher. The bid means price wanting to go lower. So when I'm seeing heavier orders come in on the bid, okay, think of like an auction, people paying the ask, paying the higher price, people paying the bid, they're wanting to bid it down and pay the lower price. So bids bringing the price down. I'm watching for that bid to keep slipping. So as I'm watching on my chart, I see my bid and my ask, the spread. The bid is slipping and the ask is coming down, trying to catch up with the bid, right? Which is the key indication it wants to keep selling, combined with the heavier flow on the bid versus basically non-existent flow on the ask, combined with now we have flushed to my key level. I'm expecting a large move. Because if I wasn't expecting a large move, I can't take this trade. It's already sold off from 95 to 40. It's already sold off 55 points from the open. Normally, that would be considered chasing. But in this particular situation where we are expecting a larger move to occur, in my head, I'm like, bro, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have this massive trade we're trying to uncover, and I think it's going to happen, and I want to be a part of it based on the volume and based on more orders leaning towards the bid, leaning towards the sell side. So I need to take advantage of that. So hence we get into this trade. From what I saw, from pretty much every single other trading community out there. Nobody got into this entry. Everybody was pretty late to this. They were all chasing this trade pretty much. So we did have the best entry amongst all these, large trading groups. Most of them are run by complete frauds, but it is what it is. And as you can see, beautiful, beautiful entry where we get a straight clean flush, right? Beautiful from 37 all the way down to 45. It's almost 90 points with almost no pullback. We had a little bit of hesitation here at 54 points in profit. That's why we took the majority exit around there just to be on the safe side, but we're still letting our position run. So we still have a good amount of the position pushing down, trying to get us a little bit more than a 2-to-1 R. So you can squeeze a 3 or 4-to-1 R out of this if you're letting it push, i.e., these are our next trims, right? 175 points profit and then 278 points profit. It was beautiful push on the way down. We were targeting that final area was going to be around 300, around that key level. Obviously, didn't end up happening. So definitely something to take note of. I tried to trim here on this first push down, missed it. So I waited for price to come back. Once price came back right here, I was actually able to get that trim myself. But this was a beautiful trade. And again, this was a combination of everything I just told you. I do that on a daily basis. I go over the pre-market prep. So all my students, I told them that this was my game plan prior to taking this trade. So even if I didn't give a live call out, anyone who's a critical thinker could have just taken this on their own if they agreed with the setup, right? And that's why there's so much success in the community. It's because I have a lot of traders that are critical thinkers. They're able to trade on their own. They're able to take my ideas and they're able to formulate their own opinion, their own game plan, their own risk management, and execute. We'll go into Friday's trade. Same type of setup here. Friday, what I told everybody was I was wanting to see a strong breakout. Again, I'm expecting a strong breakout under direction because of the way the market was coiling in the pre-market. So whenever you have almost non-existent movement in the post-market session, so the blue of QQQ is showing the post-market, the afternoon session, and then the yellow is, think of the rising sign, okay, the pre-market session. Whenever I'm seeing price just sit here, it's just sitting here. You see point of controls all over the place, just sitting here. That's where I usually like to tell myself, okay, the last 15 minutes are going to dictate direction. So as I'm watching this play out now, all I'm looking at is how point of control is coiling up here. Point of control coiling up right here, setting up for me. I'm like, all right, guys, we're looking for a breakout of 27,623 to the upside for calls. I am expecting a strong move. We're looking for a big push here. Told students this day specifically, I said, you guys might have to take this entry on your own because it might be a little bit too quick. Why might it be too quick? Well, I'm seeing orders stack on the order book level 2 at the ask in the pre-market, meaning telling me that there's already orders primed to go at the open. So if those orders have stronger volume than the rest, it's going to rip. I can sit here and say QQQ calls, I'm in these, but by the time I'm done saying it, prices push 40 points. So this is where I prep people ahead of time and say, look, this is one of those ones where, I'm going to get in the trade, but you're probably going to have to enter without my confirmation. That's probably happens 5% of the time just because of how price is reacting, a few minutes before the open. It's probably going to rip, probably going to rip. So sure enough, this thing starts to take off. But what do you see that gives you the confirmation? What do you see? Well, right when price opened here, it actually started to sell a little bit. Right when price opened, it started to sell a little bit at first, and then it had a quick wick off the level. That quick wick is coming back to this point of control zone right here, this area of interest. Comes down, retests that zone, boom, rips to the upside. That's where you would get your entry for calls. Even if you entered off the open, you would have been fine here. As you can see, it only came in to draw down a few points, but still, that's what you would want to be looking for education-wise. Because that sell side pressure was this 160. This 160 hit, it dumped a little bit, and then it just got immediately reclaimed, showing you buyers are in control because it's right at the open, Okay. Again, people who tell you cannot trade at the open are only trying to protect their ego because they do not know how to read order flow. Therefore, they cannot trade the open. If they were to trade the open, they would just be gambling. They have no idea what they're looking at. So I don't blame them, but also don't let somebody else's failure become your reality. Okay. Try to look past that. So, in terms of this trade, James, why would you let this continue? Why would you not take a 2-to-1 R exit on this trade? Again, we had the thesis and bias that based on the news events of the week, geopolitical tension, everything that was going on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we would consolidate. We trade defensive. We've done 2-to-1 R. Thursday, Friday, now we want to open up. We want to let our positions breathe. We want to let them scale out of these positions. This is how you achieve these really large, big winning trades. Okay. So, again, guided students through this on the trims that we were pushing to the upside, formed new levels because price was making new highs. So we don't have any levels. Again, that's another reason why a lot of people would sit on their hands here. It is what it is. They want to sit on their hands, whatever. I'm not a fan of that. I like to be aggressive and take advantage of price as it occurs. So while everyone else is waiting for levels to play out, we're already making money on the way up. As you can see, this was pretty much 272 points with essentially no resistance. We basically had no resistance. All I did was draw levels at every 100-point increment. So I drew at 27,700, 27,800, 27,850, and 900. And I just told everybody, we'll just trim at each 100-point increment. Each 100-point increment, we'll take a trim. Just that's all we can do. So luckily it worked out perfectly, right? That's where price decided to reject was 27,900. The only level or order block I was able to confirm based on the new price that had been playing out was I told everybody this order block right here, simply based, this was before it dumped, simply based on the 1, 2, 3 candle bounce of this range. All right. So breaks and retests, retests, retest, rips. Clearly there's an order block there. I want to pay attention to that if we come back into the level. And this up here is where J Scam Trades, his name is. Just because of that guy alone, that guy does not know how to trade. And this is a key indication. So I had 4 students from his that quit, and they all sent me the recording of the trade. And this guy had tried to enter into calls here. Now, aside from that, okay, I just want to paint a picture here. Like that's not a good example you want to follow. So anyone who entered into calls right here, case in point, they do not know how to trade. It is clear as day. Do not know how to trade for sure. So if someone had entered into calls up here, the one thing I'm seeing is a clear rejection of a whole psychological number. You have 1 candle wick, 2 candle wick, 3 candle wick. You have descending volume, right? Volume is decreasing as you're up here. Okay, so whenever you're coming up here, if you're below, if you have candles rejecting below 500,000 in volume, you're more than likely going to see a reversal. More than likely going to see a reversal. So as we can see again, volume 391,000, large candle wick, most fresh one off the level with a weak 5-minute candle close. That to me would confirm you are probably going to sell. Again, I don't know what's going to dump. I'm just saying I'm probably going to sell. If you're in a long position at this point, yeah, it's worth holding because you don't know yet. But would you be entering into calls up here? Absolutely not. That is a huge red flag that somebody who's running a Discord community, especially someone who barely makes $1,000 a day, but somehow has made $10 million on WAP, is going to tell people to enter into a position up here. He literally told people, buy calls here. What is that? What is that? When you truly read the technical analysis, this is telling you everything just to stay away from calls. Not necessarily to get out of calls if you're in them like we were, right? You're already that far in profit. If you're going to let them keep running, whatever. But why would you enter into calls when price is this overextended? You're making new all-time highs. Price is this overextended. Another key thing I want you to think about is I like to use point of control ceilings, resistance ceilings or support floors to determine price movement. So what can I see right here that's forming? Point of control, point of control, point of control, point of control, point of control. It's forming a ceiling. What else can I determine? Again, it's not on every candle, but what else can I determine? Okay, besides this candle right here, point of control formed at the top of the candle close. Top of the candle close, top of the candle close, top of the candle close. So wherever that candle was closing, point of control was above it. That is, again, telling us price wants to reject. More than likely. Again, you're not a fortune teller. You're just making educated decision based on real-time data as it comes into the market. So please, please, please do not fall for these fake gurus online who your subscription money pays for their Lambos, and then that's what they use to pretend like they're successful. Again, live trading every single day. They need to be posting their live trades every single day. They alone need to be calling out their signals every single day. If they have a team of 6 traders calling out signals for them, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. That means those traders are good, not the guy running the group. That means those traders are the ones doing the work. Notice every single time the guy running the group calls out a trade, it's a massive loss. What a coincidence. And also, by the way, I saw that was a 40-point loss, right? You guys got stopped out here, and then you entered again down here. When you take that massive of a loss, you are done. 40 points is a huge loss. That is a massive stop loss. That's 2 losing trades for us. 2 losing trades. To do that on one singular trade, you're done. I get it. The guy's trying to recover a trade. He's trying to save face and pretend like he's green for the day. Just use some proper risk management in that type of situation. Adopt your strategy to make sense. Okay. Now, how could you have traded this better? Here's the important part, right? We've identified the problem. The problem is someone who doesn't know how to trade calling out trades, but a poor area to enter, right? Overextension. How would you actually get into this call position? Now, what I told my students in my community here was this order block that we had, again, it had not retested yet. It had not sold off yet. This was after we pushed. I said, this is the only area I can see for a possible retest. What I did say was you can just watch for my levels to see how it retests my levels, but that order block specifically, that's the only order block I can find. And what do you see that happens perfectly? Retest of the order block. So now as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this is something, James, how would I identify where I can enter into this order block? Okay, here. Not pretending like you're going to be perfect. I'm not pretending like on this massive, what is this, over 100-point drop that you're going to be like, boom, I'm in calls, buddy. Let's go. No, the average trader is going to be very scared by entering into this position. It feels unnatural to enter into calls here. It would. Hence why you had a lot of people entering up here for calls. That felt more natural. They saw a little bit of a pullback and they're like, oh, dude, this is it. I'm in. It's like, come on, dude. Do you really think the NASDAQ's going to push 500 points in a day? Are you serious? Just use your brain for a second. So now that you've already invalidated the idea of trading up here, because that doesn't make any sense, now that you've watched this retest occur, you watched it come back into the order block zone, closed up here aggressively. Now all you're telling yourself is, let me watch to see how point of control reacts when we come back. Because again, look how far that 5-minute candle closed above your order block. It's too far away. It's too late of an entry, right? So now, because of how far it's sold through, the fact it's sold through down here, I now know price can retrace to 750. So if I entered up here at 794, which is 45 points later, how do I know I won't enter? Me personally, I use 20-point stop losses because that way you survive when you take a loss. It's not a big deal. How do I know this isn't just going to retrace into 75 and stop me out, right? That's a little sketchy. So we're waiting. You're waiting. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can come up to 850 and reject. Okay, we can't come up to 850. We can't make it there. We're retesting 800. Okay. All right. That's telling me price does want to keep trying to go higher. Okay. Boom. Price slipped the level again. What does it do? Retest the order block again. As it's retesting the order block again, this is where we start to look at candle closes and volume. How is volume reacting? So what are you seeing on the point of control here when this candle closes? Point of control is closed above that level, right? Because the level is technically here, 673.17. Point of control closed above. Okay, now I need to start getting ready for an entry. Now it's telling me it wants to go higher. I just need to get a real entry here. So next thing I would tell myself in this particular situation is say, okay, if price can close above 27,800, we've confirmed it's going to bounce the order block. We've already confirmed that. It's formed that higher low. It's trying to bounce the order block. Now, when I can get that 5-minute candle to close above 27,800 or point of control to form in support of the move, so if it can form that support floor, okay, if it can close below the candle close, it's not forming as a ceiling, forming resistance. That can be the perfect indication for me to get into a call position. So now you watch this first 5-minute candle closes green. Okay. The other beautiful thing here is price is squeezing. You see that higher low. You see this downtrend right here. Price is squeezing. It's more than likely going to have an aggressive breakout in one direction or the other, meaning you can use a tight stop loss in this situation. You could be entering at 27,800 with a 20-point stop loss. So you'd be stopping out at 880. That also works perfectly because that would mean the previous candle, because remember, now you're entering on this candle's close. You're entering here. That's where you're entering. Now you're saying, all right, if it forms a newer low from the previous candle, I'm out. Keep it simple. So simple. And again, you're scared because price has moved dramatically in your direction. I don't blame you. I'm not expecting a 200-point rip from this level. That's a little bit wishful thinking. 100 points max. Because what does 100 points line up with? 800 to 900, 900 to the high of day where it rejected earlier. That makes sense. If that scares you and you don't want to scale out on your way up to 100 points, 2-to-1 R, right? 20-point stop, 40-point take profit. Boom, you'd hit it literally within seconds. Let's have a blessed one. 1% better. Boom. Every single day. I will see you guys in the next video. Please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, show some support, but let me know in the comments what you liked, what you'd want to see more of maybe, and try to go from there. All right. Have a blessed one, everybody.